Hi, I'm Locke Wilford. Get great offers on our award-winning lineup at Dublin Chevrolet.
Come into Dublin Chevy Buick GMC and find your bonus tag today. Come into Dublin Chevrolet and get up to $11,000 off on a new Silverado. Come into Dublin Buick and get up to $6,000 off on select new Buicks.
Find your Chevy bonus tag today at Dublin Chevrolet. Proud to be the only dealer you will ever need.
Hello everybody, I'm Pilar Archila with Pure Gold. I'm sitting here with Dr. Roger Smith. He's a retired ophthalmologist. Well, we have a lot of things to talk about today.
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be here.
I'm glad to do it.
Yeah. Retired ophthalmologist. Where did you work before you retired?
Well, I was in practice in Dublin, initially with Dr. J.Y. Jones. J.Y. moved to Dublin in about, I think, 1976, and he became so busy and overworked that he started recruiting me. We had met each other at Walter Reed Hospital in the Army, and he was on the cycle of about 2 years ahead of me to get out, and he'd been in Dublin for about 6 months when he started telling me that I should come and go into practice with him. At that time, my wife and I both were from Texas, and we decided that we were going to go back to Texas and find business opportunities, but we stopped in to visit J.Y. and his wife Linda, and were so entranced with Dublin and the medical possibilities that we finally decided to give it a try. And so in 1978 we moved to Dublin, and
so you guys met in Texas, or?
No, we actually, J.Y. and I met at Walter Reed Hospital in D.C.
Oh, I'm sorry, in
but,
D.C.
You know, and he was a Georgia boy, born and raised.
Right.
And I was more or less had Texas roots, and so he convinced me to give Dublin a try. And we've been very happy since then.
And it's been many, many years, my goodness.
Oh yes, I've lived longer in Dublin than I've lived any place else in my life, because my dad was military, and we moved about every 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
And I knew I didn't want that lifestyle for my own, and but we've been very, very happy in Dublin, and just very thankful that J.Y. offered us the opportunity.
Yeah, he's a great person, and he actually retired just recently also.
I believe so, January, I think.
Yeah, tell me, how is retirement? I always dream about that.
Well, I tell you what, you're probably asking the wrong person, because I was just talking with someone else about that, and I don't have a lot of hobbies or passions outside of being an ophthalmologist. I'm not a golfer. I don't particularly get involved in, but I find myself busy all day long doing something.
Yeah.
And but a lot of the time, I'm probably just wasting time as much as anything. But I enjoyed it. I miss the people I worked with. I miss some of the patients, but the day-to-day pressures and some of the non-medical related frustrations and aggravations that you have to deal with nowadays, more so than when I was actually practicing, I'm not sure I'd be able to put up with all the red tape as much as you have to do.
Yeah.
Now. And I think that's also probably one of the contributing factors to why J.Y. decided to retire. Was it was just getting too hard to handle everything, and then also practice medicine. So.
Yeah. How long ago did you retire?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's been several years now.
That is great.
Yeah, and I kind of looked around, and my health was good, my family was all gone. I have 2 kids, and they were already out of the house and out of school and starting their own families. So it was a perfect time for Martha and I to decide, that's my wife's name, Martha, to decide to retire.
Yeah.
I thought it would be 6 months or so before I would then do something else, maybe teach a little bit or do something else. And that 6 months went by so fast, and I'm still just enjoying just being unattached.
And you're still busy doing
Yeah.
little things, and you wonder, I'm sure, how did you work and then find time to do other things?
Well, I think it helps to have the right partner. She can run the house and do a lot of the things that I wasn't able to do.
Yeah.
But it's easy to prioritize your day-to-day life, and Dublin has just been so great to us, and the community was so warm and accepted us as not
Their
even
own.
Georgians.
Yes, exactly.
And I've said many times that the strength of Dublin is the people, and we've just been really blessed with great friends and acquaintances, and
Yes, absolutely.
enjoyed the whole community. Yeah.
Is Miss Martha also from Texas?
Yes, she was born and raised in Fort Worth, which is a great city,
Yeah.
and so it's probably harder for her to think about leaving Texas. But we had already kind of decided that even if we were going to be in Texas, we thought we wanted to be in a small town, a relatively small town. As a specialist, you have to be careful because there has to be a significant drawing population as an ophthalmologist. And I kind of didn't want to go to a big city, so I was looking at towns that were similar to Dublin, but they
Right.
were located in Texas. And with JY's offer, I kind of decided that I knew him and liked him and respected him, and thought that's a pretty good combination of characteristics to have in a partner.
Right.
And I think we had a great relationship through all the years. And,
So the two of you started together.
well, he started, and he was here roughly 2 years before I arrived. And he'd already set up the office and had some personnel already involved. We added some more office personnel when I came into the practice. And we moved from his little office, which was, gosh, I'm trying to think, downtown kind of, to a brand new office that was being built after I decided to come into practice with him. So when we first moved to Dublin, he and I shared this small office before we moved out to Erin Office Park.
And that's where it is
That's
now.
where we are now.
Yes.
And then we've, over the years, we brought in Dr. Glenn Smalley and brought in Dr. Randall Osment and Dr. Williamson. And since I've been retired, they also have brought in Dr. Falk.
Falk,
And I think they're almost always looking for help.
Yeah,
And,
they're busy. Dr. Osman is my doctor, and they're always busy, but they always find time to treat you and to be kind to you, and
yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I think they're wonderful people.
I think so too. You moved to Dublin, you started working with him, and before we were on camera, you mentioned that he was already a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
I believe he was. I don't remember us not being members of the chamber. And if he wasn't, we quickly became members after I arrived. And I was not active particularly in the chamber, other than going to some of the chamber events or something like that from time
Right.
to time. But as the years went by and I became more familiar with Dublin and Dublin people and so forth, I became more interested in chamber activities.
Right. What kind, now, I know that you still belong to the Chamber of Commerce,
Correct.
even though you retired, and that's something that, all of you out there, you don't have to have a business. to be a member of the chamber. You can just, as a regular person,
Yeah,
have a membership and participate because it's our community.
absolutely.
And, you know, little things that our community is doing, and one person can make a difference, you know.
Well, I think the community spirit is so strong, and I certainly appreciated that when I got more involved in the chamber. I'll give you one instance, and I think this might have been when I was chairman or on the board, I can't remember exactly which. We were trying to recruit a certain company. The company chose not to come to Dublin. I think they chose to go to Statesboro. But within literally 24 hours, through the chamber, this community was notified of the arrival of this company's officers. And we put on a show at the Dublin Theater. Hundreds of people showed up. We had local people give testimony about their experiences in Dublin. We had musical entertainment. We had, I think maybe even high school band participants might have been there. And we just put on the most amazing presentation with slides and a room full of
That
people.
shows how great this
And
community
it was
is.
done so quickly, and that's not the first time or the last time I've seen this community pull together
To
and
do
make
something.
something happen. When we first moved here, one of the examples was remodeling the old Carnegie Library that
yeah.
then was the Historic Center for a while. And as far as I know, that was all done on private donations.
Right.
But there's been many projects like that have taken Dublin citizens,
To
time
pull
and
together.
money
Yeah.
and effort, and it's great to do it. I mean, I think everybody that does it enjoys it, and I just encourage everybody in Dublin to find some niche, whether
Right.
it be the church or the recreation department or volunteering at the high school or whatever. A chamber of commerce, certainly, local civic clubs, because it pays you back many, many times over.
That's
for sure.
right.
Yeah.
Dr. Smith, we're going to take a short break,
Okay.
and we're going to be back. Don't go away, please. We're back. I'm sitting here with Dr. Roger Smith, and we're talking about the Chamber of Commerce. I know that in 1998-99, you were a chairperson for the board.
That's correct.
Can you share with us what kind of things went on that year that you were the chair?
Well, perfectly honest, I get a little mixed up because prior to being the chairman, I was on the board, and so I get kind of mixed up on exactly what
Yeah.
happened when.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that during that time, the local chamber was recognized and accredited, which
Oh,
was
yes.
a good achievement for the personnel at the chamber. We had, I believe, the second community retreat when I was chairman, and I had attended the first community retreat the year before as a board member. That was very important, and I think even to this day, I think they may still have community retreats that were started back then. Trying to think, we continued to try to recruit industry and businesses to come. About that time was when Best Buy, I believe, came into Dublin. A number of other warehouse type industries, Fred's warehouse came in. And about that time, let's see, I think also, I believe that at that time, we were still remodeling the current location of the chamber. I think we extended and maybe added a board, a conference room, and improvements to the building itself. And can't think of anything else right off the top of my head right now.
Was there anything that you thought, oh, I didn't have time to do this, and maybe we can still do it now?
Well, I think I could see that the chamber was so well run with competent personnel that I don't remember feeling as though that there was big failures or big voids that we had in the I knew that it was going to continue to be run in a great fashion, and that anything that we had left on the table was not going to be left on the table for long.
For a long time.
Because Willie was not going to allow anything important to slip through. So I felt pretty good about the experience. And, you know, for years after that, I enjoyed still being active as just a member of the chamber.
Absolutely.
I've kind of backed away over the last few years, but I'm just real proud every time I see what they accomplish, and so we'll look forward to seeing the newsletters that comes out from
Exactly.
them. And
Yeah, that's the advantage of continuing being a member.
well, yes, in fact, I just, it's hard for me to believe that a member of this community wouldn't want to be
I
a
know.
member.
I feel the same
Certainly
way.
if you have a business, it's a perfect opportunity to meet other people in the community that might do business with you, come to the
Exactly.
business after hours, come to the breakfasts that are, come to
Right.
meetings, and just find out what the chamber is all about.
And what's going on in our own community.
Oh,
I mean, we live here.
Absolutely. That was, I think, the most fun for me was just kind of being on the end on what we're trying to do, how we're doing it. But I would think as a local business person, this is an excellent opportunity to meet other businessmen and find out what they're doing, share ideas. I just can't imagine that not being part of a business plan.
Exactly.
And I'm including physicians in that too.
Right.
You know, the things that we have in Dublin that make all of our lives pleasant and rewarding are part and parcel with things the chamber is doing. If we don't recruit new business, then we don't recruit
We're not
new
growing.
doctors, we don't recruit new personnel, and we all are sharing in this experiment to try to make everything better. All over the country, but certainly in Georgia, and I've seen this since I moved here, little towns, rural towns are dying. They're drying up. Rural hospitals are disappearing left and right. And to stay viable in this environment, we have to have people that run Chamber of Commerce's and are citizens that are willing to recruit and take time out of their lives to support the community.
Mm-hmm.
I've said many times, I wasn't lucky enough to be born in Dublin, but I certainly was lucky to have found it and
Yes.
haven't looked
It's
back.
like an adopted child.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel the
Absolutely.
same way.
Yeah.
And just like you, I've been here longer than any place in the world.
Yeah, and, I don't have any plans to retire
To go
anyplace
anywhere.
else.
Well, we're going to take another short break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. I'm here sitting with Dr. Roger Smith, ophthalmologist, retired. If there is someone out there watching and are not members of the chamber, either an individual or small business or big business, what would you tell this person or people that it's a good idea to be a member of the chamber?
Well, I think there's just so many important things that the chamber does that you would want to be part of as a businessman. If you're coming to Dublin and opening a new business and not familiar with the community, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet other businessmen through Chamber of Commerce activities, through their business after hours, through their breakfasts. If you're a Dublin citizen who's opening a new business or has an existing business, this is an opportunity for you to meet and mingle with other businessmen, people that you may know but you don't know well. And I just think as a businessman, this is such an important activity for you to be involved in. And I think it will grow your business and help you financially and otherwise to be a member of the chamber and support all they do. They're constantly recruiting new people to come to Dublin, which can only add to whatever business you're involved in.
I think that the Chamber of Commerce is a must-have tool when you have a business.
I would think so.
Dr. Smith, thank you for being here with me today.
Enjoyed it.
And I really enjoy talking to you today.
Okay.
And for all of you out there, thank you so much for watching. And until next time.